apparently this is basically the simulator that initially, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, because I remember way back in the past when I was a little kid, there used to be a really creepy freaking ride that was like a spaceship ride, but it was like in Las Vegas and stuff that predated the freaking Star Tours. I don't know if it's the same one as this, but I kind of want to check this one out real quick. It's called Astroliner. I am a big fan of Star Tours. Freaking love that Star Wars ride.
Have become pretty ubiquitous across the theme park industry, and honestly, they're getting kind of old. When Star Tours opened at Disneyland in 1987, it was obviously wildly popular, premiering with simulator technology to millions of people who had never seen such a thing before. Its innovation then kicked off a period where every single park wanted their own version, from Universal's Back to the Future the ride.
Oh my goodness, dude, it's gone now if I'm not mistaken, but one of the greatest rides to ever exist of all time. Back to the Futures was one of the coolest rides ever.
To Questor, which was developed
never went to that one.
Simulators became common everywhere. From
I never went to that one. There was a freaking Batman one.
Mall, and to traveling versions designed.
I've seen that one all the time. I've seen that everywhere.
After the success of Star Tours, Disney applied their specific use of simulator technology.
Honestly, I think it was probably that one that I was thinking about, the red one.
To create Body Wars, an attraction that took you on a thrilling ride through the human body for the 1989 Wonders of Life Pavilion in Epcot. There's probably a good chance that you watched my video where I covered the pavilion, but it was people who commented on that video that inspired this one. I unknowingly made the incorrect claim there that Star Tours was the first simulator attraction to exist, and a good handful of people pointed out that there are others that actually predate it. In fact, as far as I can find, the first ride that might be considered a simulator was known as A Trip to the Moon. Designed for the Pan American Exposition of 1901.
Oh nah, Poseidon Entertainment said, okay, y'all wanna play this game? Y'all wanna play the Who Did It First game? I got you. Bro really went back to the freaking what is it? This is probably some like I don't know when it is. I just know that when you say the year that this is from, you have to say circa before it.
The attraction boarded riders on a
circa 92, circa 90 or some shit, yo.
By swaying and using fans to.
I don't even know what the hell circa means. I just know that means old.
As it progressed, a spinning mechanism.
It means it was a long time ago.
Through painted canvases as they flew over Niagara Falls, then North America, and finally landed on the moon. Once riders exited, they stepped into lunar caverns to explore what might be one of the most terrifying themed experiences ever built, as they interacted with live actors playing the Moon People, also known as the Selenites. Later, with the opening of Disneyland in 1955,
they don't make them like they used to.
Tomorrowland premiered its own innovative simulator with Rocket to the Moon, where guests sat down in a circular theater designed to evoke the idea that they were in a rocket. Looking down at a film projected into the center screen, they would watch as they took off and traveled to the moon. Magic Kingdom also had a near-identical experience with the renamed Flight to the Moon, and by 1975, both attractions were rethemed into Mission to Mars. Still, these attractions were not the thrilling motion simulators we know today.
Yeah, boring. I want to shoot lasers and blow stuff up.
And it's interesting to see that pre-Star Tours, there were, well, terrifying predecessor attractions that stuck you inside an enclosed rocket ship and exposed you to this.
Engine is out, sir.
What the hell is that? Did you just get eaten by a freaking space monster? What the hell was that? Oh, what a sick track though. Yeah, I feel like I'm about to get eaten by an alien. This track puts me at like a Blade Runner, like Aliens, the original movie kind of mood.
Flight simulator technology has been around since at least World War I, with some pretty interesting mechanical designs, but one of the most famous ever developed was the Link Trainer, which was used to train United States pilots for World War II. In 1954, United Airlines purchased 4 simulators manufactured by Curtiss-Wright, which were notable for adding visuals and are considered to be the first contemporary version of this technology. By the mid-1960s, commercial flight simulators were using mechanisms to simulate pitch and yaw, and
Poseidon Entertainment really said I never want to hear another commenter say that I got my information wrong again. He really said I'm about to break down the whole history of it for y'all.
The first ever simulator ride
Shut your
system
mouth.
debuted
Never
in
correct me again.
1977. Produced by Doran Precision Systems as the SR-2, there was very little documentation on the films that played inside or where they were installed, although by the 90s, it was clear that they were highly ubiquitous, often presented in malls, science museums, and even being transported around with traveling fairs.
Saw it all the time, saw it everywhere. Super cool.
Another simulator that
Always a
predated
huge line.
Star
Always.
Tours was Tour of the Universe, which debuted in 1985 and took you on a flight to Jupiter. While little surviving documentation still exists, it premiered in a complex with other space-themed attractions in the CN Tower in Toronto. Still, there's one last notable predecessor to Star Tours, and that would be the 1981 premiere of the Astroliner. Produced by Wisdom Manufacturing, what made these notable, other than their rocket ship exterior, was that, as a simulator, they instead took the approach of using a rig to lift the vehicle up and down, while also rolling it side to side to simulate movement, rather than opting for hydraulic actuators. Using a Super 8 film inside to project the media, the ride operator
See, I don't know, like that I don't know, mechanically, that just seems like so many points of failure, right?
rolling it side to side to simulate movement.
But, like, I would wonder... Because who knows? I mean, I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know, it seems like there's too many
Other than
moving
their rocket
parts
ship
there. I don't like
exterior,
it.
Was that, as a simulator, they instead took the approach of using a rig to lift the vehicle up and down, while also rolling it side to side to simulate movement,
It's
rather
really
than
cool,
opting
though.
for hydraulic actuators. Using a Super 8 film inside to project the media, the ride operator would control the
Ooh, I like the sound of that, a Super 8 film.
motion. And while it had less movement than the SR-2s, the distinct rocket shape allowed them to stand out. While the Astroliners were sometimes installed in parks like Six Flags Great
Super 8 film is, I only know that because of the movie Super 8.
Adventure or Pennsylvania's Dutch Wonderland, they were otherwise mostly an element of traveling fairs. Originally, it
I wonder if the fairs painted them themselves.
appears that the rockets could play 3 different films, which were developed for extremely cheap, using models by a lone stop-motion animator, John Davis. The first film that could play was known as
Wait, John Davis wrote that? What the frick?
Astroliner Moonbase, and first started off with a voiceover
Am
from
I thinking of the
fictional
same John
Captain
Davis?
Johnson, who announces that they're preparing your flight for Moonbase Omega. Launching from the space station, you pass by the Earth, make your way to the Moon, and Johnson announces that you're passing by a Federation freighter. Suddenly switching to a different ship camera, the screen in front of you shows enemy fighters firing on the freighter and blowing it up, and you're then suddenly sucked into the middle of a dogfight. This concept, including the way it was executed practically,
Oh, I don't know, there's a bunch of different John Davises. It's a freaking really popular name. Alright, never mind. Now, there's like a billion different John... There's not no way it's gonna be the same one I'm thinking of. The one I was thinking of was the
more
animator.
obviously inspired by Star Wars.
But maybe.
In the middle of the fight, you're then reinforced by Federation
If somebody
fighters,
actually knows, please let me
and
know.
diverting course, you then make your way to the Earth, entering the atmosphere and slowing down for the landing. This ends the brief 3-minute experience, but considering the more basic ride system of the Astroliner and the notably cheap budget of the film, I'm actually really impressed by how well this turned out. The second film that came with the ride was known as the Grand Canyon, where, starting off, you emerge from the clouds. The name of the film obviously indicates that you'll be flying and banking through the Grand Canyon,
Through where?
which was
Oh, through the
achieved
Grand
through a
Canyon?
special camera rig that was mounted to a helicopter to get the
I
footage.
was wondering.
There's no story here.
I couldn't
but
tell from the
3-minute
name.
experience seems interesting enough, especially for a ride that was so novel for its time. The final film was known as Alpha Centauri, and you're once again introduced to Captain Johnson, who begins your flight exactly as the
What about Beta Centauri?
first film did by recycling the footage. After viewing the freighter again, which is called the Astroliner for this version, you're alerted to an incoming asteroid threat. Another voice then chimes in, which sounds very much like Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker.
Captain, the meteoroids are pulling us into hyperspace!
It really does. It really, really does.
You then experience a
Captain?
special
Whoa!
effects sequence where you fly through flashing lights, and eventually
What is with like every 90s freaking character trying to act like sound like there's some like teenage kid?
past nebula and galaxies. Coming out of hyperspace, you're warned of a planetary collision, and deploying the thrusters, your ship flies towards the ground and, to my surprise, actually crashes, ending the experience. All three films for the Astroliner were interesting in their own ways, and considering the lack of budget, I'm really impressed by their technical capability. It's not clear to me whether operators had access to all three films or otherwise had to choose just one, but as the simulators aged, they could be updated with new media, which is where things get, well, a lot scarier.
I mean,
As early as 1982, the Astroliner was packaged with 2 additional films, produced and directed by another stop-motion animator, Stanley Strawn.
I gotta wonder, how much did each one cost? Do we know?
Taking a more horrific direction, the first of these films was known as Monster Planet, and started with a launch into space. You're told that you need to investigate another planet in quadrant P39, and getting caught in a comet storm, you evade and make your way to the mysterious planet. Entering an atmospheric storm, your ship is rocked by some strange flying creature, and descending further, your ship flies through a canyon, which I suspect is an actual edit of the Grand Canyon film, but with alternate colors for the alien planet. Entering the understory of a dense forest, a foreboding call is heard, and you're suddenly jump-scared by a worm-like creature, which chases you through the scene.
Oh, hold on, I want to see that. I got distracted by looking at this. These things can cost how much? The Citizen Astroliner Cosmo sign, what the frick, can be found around 1,118 on eBay? No freaking way, right? Nah, that's a freaking watch, stupid. Not that. No, you idiot. Oh, it refers to a commercial astroliner like a fun. Okay, around 2K? But that's like what, to rent it? I'm gonna look into this, Monos. Don't worry. Good shape. Everything works. 35K on Facebook. Some rich YouTuber needs to hit me up and let me know. Please buy me that, and then I'll let you use it for content.
The first of these films was known as Monster Planet, and started with a launch into space.
But you gotta buy it for me though.
You're told that you need to investigate another planet in quadrant P39, and getting caught in a comet storm, you evade and make your way to the mysterious planet. Entering an atmospheric storm, your ship is rocked by some strange flying creature, and descending further,
was that a freaking
your ship flies
dragon?
through a canyon, which I suspect is an actual edit of the Grand Canyon film, but with alternate colors for the alien planet. Entering the understory of a dense forest, a foreboding call is heard, and you're suddenly jump-scared by a worm-like creature, which chases you through the scene. Escaping into a cave,
Like a centipede.
bizarre humanoid creature throws a boulder at you that damages the ship, and you then quickly encounter a different, fire-breathing beast. The screen goes black as you transition to you leaving the cave, and you emerge out and see an
No, I
abandoned
freaking love
city.
stuff like this. It's like stop motion
Making your way
too.
over and traveling through the abandoned structure, you're again jump-scared by the worm creature. Escaping the planet and traveling back to Earth, you descend through the atmosphere as one of the pilots notes you have a damaged engine.
See, I always wonder why they didn't add like extra adventures like this to stuff. Like, even in the Star Wars one, I always wonder why they didn't add more creatures and like epic events and like, you know what I mean?
You land in a park, and it's revealed that one of the creatures hitched a ride, causing everyone to panic and attacking your ship through another startling moment that ends the film. Like the
that's
original
sick.
3 films, Monster Planet lasts roughly 3 minutes, and has a distinct charm through its stop-motion animation, but its alternative film is thematically very different, and is titled the Bermuda Triangle. I believe that I may have found
Oh,
a Spanish version of it that came from an astroliner in Tijuana, but it starts
don't worry.
exactly as Alpha
I'll
Centauri
translate
did
it.
by recycling older footage, with the captain stating that Alpha Centauri is your destination. After passing the moon and through what I assume is hyperspace, you first encounter a planet that is blown up by an off-screen laser, then transitioning to the Alpha Centauri film asteroid effect
Oh, damn!
as if the planet has been blown to pieces. Footage from the dogfight in Astroliner Moonbase is then shown as you're caught up in a battle.
Oh, this
and
one freaking
after
starts off
extended
sick as
cutovers,
hell!
You escape into hyperspace and make
You're
your
damn
way
right
to
we
another
do.
planet. Descending and crashing down into the ocean.
Oh, so we're not
the
even
craft
getting to a
moves
planet
around
we
as
wanted
you hear
to. This is a
Alpha's
freaking different
roar that
planet.
travels through the water. Transitioning to the next scene, you encounter a sunken ship and proceed to explore the wreck site. Out of nowhere, you encounter an underwater sub being chased by a gargantuan creature, which
Hey,
then
hell, what-
turns and attacks you.
Oh, it's like a freaking...
Evading, you turn around and encounter the creature again as
Oh,
it carries
damn!
and thrashes around the other
It's like a
sub.
sea dragon from
It
Subnautica!
turns and directs its attention to you again, but you escape into an underwater cave system and eventually make your way back to the surface. In a rather uninteresting
Who the hell was
ending,
that other
you
submarine?
launch into hyperspace from the
Was that another
planet
alien?
and return to the space station.
Ooh, what if it was
While
another
no
space,
English
another
documentation
another
of the
space
Bermuda
cadet?
Triangle film seems to exist, I'm of the belief that
I
the
like that
Spanish
one, that
version
was
I
sick.
found is not the original. Because it is lengthier at 5
I don't understand why they didn't just make one where, like, you went through all three of them or something.
minutes, and its transitions are incredibly awkward. I believe it's probably a splice of multiple original films, including the Bermuda Triangle with a Spanish dub. At the very least, I believe that you can see a large part of what that original film was like, and again, the stop-motion animation has a distinct charm to it that helps sell the startling underwater encounter.
Oh yeah, bro. Especially if if you do it like well and like keep the shadows on it, it can look uncanny as hell.
While not well documented, astroliner simulators still exist throughout the world today, and have long abandoned these early films. But while not remembered by many, they were still an interesting part of simulator history. Obviously, attractions like Star Tours, Body Wars, and Back to the Future are remembered fondly, but I thought a
Freaking
short
love Back to the Future so much, bro.
video on the attractions that predate them was an interesting subject in itself, and the astroliner was uniquely notable.
Yeah, no, that like rotating mechanism is so interesting with the bike chains. It's nuts to me.
If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, you can help me out by just leaving a like. And if you haven't yet subscribed and hit the bell notification yet either, you can also do so now to be alerted to new videos as they release.
Now, I always, as a fantasy, sort of like me fantasizing on my own. I've always loved the idea of like designing like roller coasters and rides and stuff like that. I remember back in like when I was like really like young, I used to like make entire roller coasters, like created entire set pieces and everything. Like even made my own Ender Dragon, so that you would like ride underneath its legs when you got on a train, like a train track. Oh, it was so cool. I would love to do something like that, one of these streams. Maybe on Minecraft we could like make a roller coaster ride using the train tracks. Oh, it would be sick. It would be so sick. Alright, Monos, I'll tell you what though. It is about that time. I do got to get going, Monos. It's freaking 9 o'clock. I've been streaming since 10. I'm sleepy. Thank you so much, Monos, for joining me on today's live stream. It's been an absolute pleasure streaming with absolutely every single one of you. Like I said, I kind of want to try to start adding more and more. Oh wait, before I freaking go any further, by the way, please go drop Poseidon Entertainment a quick little like, quick little sub. Show some support. What a phenomenal video by Poseidon Entertainment, as always. Ayoo, Monodachis! Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also find links to the videos that we reacted to today down in the description below, along with my Oshi marks. I'll see you in the next video, Monos. Goodbye, and thank you so much for swinging by. Sadu!